All right, so what you're looking at right here on my right or left, whatever side it's on, is Ryan Garcia being led away in cuffs. He got arrested last night. We are going to talk about exactly what happened there because it is an interesting story. Didn't take long from, hey, the crazy act was an act to he's in handcuffs, okay? This is a movie we've all seen before. Young, rich athlete going crazy, has the world by the balls, spending money, $1.5 million on a ring for a girl he's just trying to smash once, and now he's in handcuffs. Who could have seen this coming? So I don't know what to make of this kid, man. All I know is that he's really clever on the microphone. He's a great fighter, and he's fun to watch, and I like making videos about him. But, he had me convinced that this whole thing was a crazy act because he was so together on the Valuetainment episode. I don't know what's going on, man. I just know getting arrested is, generally speaking, not a good sign. But, he's young. He's young. I also, by the way, we'll talk about in this video that he has not been paid for the fight with Devin Haney. And I also want to talk about the Austrian thing because I watched a documentary that very heavily indicated that there was a conspiracy to make it look like he had popped hot. And I'm telling you, it's very convincing, dude. And when I kind of line up some of the pieces, why it's so convincing that this actually wasn't just like tainted supplement, like they're saying, like that this was actually a conspiracy. It comes down very heavily to one person who's involved with the Devin Haney camp, who is probably the shadiest character you could possibly have anywhere near a positive drug test of any kind. So we'll talk about that. Not to mention that Devin Haney's brother said that God told him that he was going to pop hot on his test after the fight. Immediately after that, I don't know. I was talking to God, and he said, I think Ryan Garcia is gonna pop hot. You're all, really? Are you sure that you didn't overhear some conspirators talking about how they were gonna pop Ryan hot? I'm just saying. So that's what we're gonna do. Also, we're gonna talk about this huge story with Dana White first. That's actually where we're going first, is the Dana White story. Because sometimes I just like to be able to be like, I told you so. Because usually when there's a conspiracy afoot or some kind of promotional stunt and, and I come on here, I'm like, guys, it's a PR stunt. And people are like, oh, whatever, Jesse on Fire. It's rare that someone comes out later and says, yeah, that was a PR stunt. And so in this case, now that we do have that confirmation, we're going to talk about it. So we're talking about the Howie Mandel thing. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We have an agreement on this channel. If you watch my content, it doesn't cost any money, but it is not free. You just have to click the subscribe button, and we're going to handshake it. Don't be the guy. Take the candy. We're raising money for muscular dystrophy. Don't be the guy who takes the candy. It doesn't leave the quarter. It doesn't even cost any money. It takes 1 second. And then also like the video if you guys don't mind. I appreciate you guys. All right, so here is the story right here. Dana White reveals shocking Howie Mandel podcast walkout was planned. Oh my God. Did anyone, I can't remember. Did anyone specific say 1,000% it was a PR stunt? I feel like, oh, that's right. I did. Absolutely unwavering confidence that was a PR stunt. How anyone was arguing with me about that is beyond me. It was the most obvious PR stunt in the history of the world. If you know Dana, okay, what possible reason would Dana have had to do that? Okay, so let's just get down to what he actually said. Oh, here, we can play this again, just in case you guys don't remember this incident.
Dana White, you are an amazing guy. I can't thank you enough for being here. You and Ginger seem to be getting along. You are not only an amazing businessman, you are an inspiration, you are a philosopher. The way you do business, the way you conduct your business and your friendships and media is, I'm jealous. But Dana, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.
Okay, so you guys remember that? So Dana came out now and said, here's a quote. So what happened was I did the Sage Steele podcast when she called me Joe Rogan. First of all, Sage Steele and I are good friends. I love Sage. She asked me to be her first guest on the podcast, so I go out there. Now the studio is owned by Howie Mandel, where these podcasts take place. She was signed to Bill Maher's podcast company, and they're all done in Howie Mandel's studio. So we get done with the podcast, and Howie Mandel walks in. He's like, hey, 100 podcasts a week happen here. I've never watched any of them. I watched the whole podcast. Love who you are and what you stand for and all this stuff. We hit it off, started talking. Great dude. Oh, so Howie Mandel's a Trumper. And making it in Hollywood. Can't say publicly that he's a Trumper because he'll never get hired ever again because Hollywood is run by a bunch of leftist weirdos. So he's like, let me show you around the studio. And would you do me a favor? And he said, would you come in, get up, and walk off my podcast? And Dana said, I would be fucking honored to walk off your podcast because I'm so sick of doing podcasts. It's not funny. So they go in and he's like, take this to the grave. I said, done. I'll take it to the grave. Well, he didn't take it to the grave. He didn't take it to the grave, but he said that he went and did a thing with the Nelk boys and the whole place started chanting, fuck Howie Mandel. People are so dumb, dude. People are so dumb. Just the fact that like, okay, like what did Howie Mandel do that was so bad? Even if Dana really did walk off, like what exactly did Howie Mandel do that would have people all, God damn it. That Howie was so polite and nice. Okay, so anyway, I knew this was a publicity stunt, obviously, because why would Dana book himself to take time and go do a podcast with Howie Mandel, get there, and then all of a sudden become insanely unprofessional and just walk off the fucking set? You know what I mean? Like, you think that Dana, like, if he's going to do a podcast, that's in his calendar, you know? Like, that's in his calendar. Oh, we're doing that show that day. So you're going to go there and, you know, hey, how are you? And then once he's there, he's all, I'm just going to become a different person now and just walk out of this engagement that I had committed to. That sounded very unreasonable and stupid to assume, as far as I'm concerned. So I made the call that it was fake, and obviously I was right because it was obvious. But anyway, we don't really need to talk much more about that. Let's move over to Ryan Garcia, and we're going to talk about this arrest, and then we will talk about why I believe that he was set up with the Austrian. Here's the video of him being arrested, and we'll talk about it. Oops. Shirt off. Shirt off. What is he doing? All right. So he was arrested for felony vandalism. Led away in cuffs on video. Garcia's attorney, Darren Chavez, tells us Ryan was taken by BHPD, Beverly Hills PD, by the way. He got arrested at like some super snazzy place. And was taken to a local hospital for evaluation and treatment. And he may be charged with public intoxication. Telling you, dude. That booze is no good, dude. Being drunk like that is a bad look. I don't care how rich you are. People should just, anybody who has a friend that is a bad drunk, if you want to help them out, just find a reason to be videotaping them when they're wasted and then show it to them. But not, like most people, if you're like, hey man, you've got a problem, they're going to be like defensive. They're going to be really defensive. So don't do it like that. Especially like someone who's like 25 years old. Don't do it like that. Just take a video and make sure that there's a reason why you can show it to them later so that they have to like look at themselves. You're like, this is you, like, because they don't know. You guys, like, that's the crazy thing about booze is you have no awareness of what they don't know what you look like when you're wasted. And so the people who are like disgustingly smelly, like they have no idea that they look like that. None. Because they're that drunk. How would they possibly know? And so it shocks people when they see themselves like that, and you're like, you think of yourself as like a person who's pretty well put together. Like, do you know how many people saw you like this? Aren't you fucking embarrassed? Because if you get arrested for public intoxication, you are a sloppy fucking drunk, dude. All right. So they said that he was taken into custody after he allegedly damaged property at the hotel, including his room and the hallway. Any damage over $400 can be considered a felony in California. I mean, if they keep him in jail for more than 5 minutes, that seems kind of ridiculous, since in California, you can do whatever you want and not get arrested. I mean, listen, instead of trashing his hotel, you know what he should have done? He should have gone to San Francisco, walked into any store and stolen $999 worth of stuff, because guess what? You don't get arrested for that. They don't even care. You walk in with a fucking trash bag and just start shoving shit into it. And then you just walk out and you're like, fuck you. That's fine. That's fine in San Francisco. I wonder why the city's falling apart. I wonder. I really do. I watched this interview last night with this guy on, it was like maybe Soft White Underbelly or something. It might've been that or one of the other ones. He's a longtime undercover agent. And he worked San Francisco area, like cartels and all kinds of stuff. Like this guy was this is a great interview. And they asked, they're like, is it getting better or worse? And he's like, much worse, much worse. And they're like, why do you think? He's like, because they're not keeping anyone in jail now. Like they're not keeping anyone in prison. It's amazing. It's like these liberal, like hyper liberal, like activist people that are fighting. Oh, it's because of institutional racism that these guys are getting arrested. You're like, no, they're getting arrested because they put a gun in a person's face, or they're getting arrested because them and 6 of their friends ran into a department store, grabbed all of the merchandise and ran outside. Well, they wouldn't have had to do that if they wouldn't have been born black. And you're like, what are you talking about? It's the historical racism that led to them stealing all those Louis Vuitton bags. You think so? Is that what you think? So I guess we can just let people do whatever they want. And if they can show that they were poor growing up, then that's fine. That seems like a super reasonable way to run society. Fucking idiots. That's why I moved to Texas. Check this out. This is actually really a side note. Actually, I'll finish this, but, a dozen cars, yada, yada. That's not the first time he had an alleged. Oh, he's had an incident at that exact hotel before, apparently. So that's why they're like, get this guy the fuck out of here. Oh, wait, he's walking with his brother the following day. He looks hungover as fuck. Look at him. He's like, oh, they got me, dude. They got me. Okay, so I'll tell you his mom, according to the fighter, was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. That's terrible, man. Man, that is super bad. That's got to be rough on him, dude. I saw him say something about that on X. I wasn't sure what he was talking about. I actually, now that puts that together. Anybody who talks about his mom is a piece of human fucking filth. So that is, don't do that. But nonetheless, it's California. What's the worst that's going to happen? Like, this only story here is that Ryan Garcia was wasted and was trashing a hotel, And I'm going to talk about why I think they rigged the Austrian test in a second. But I will tell you this funny thing real quick, though, because yesterday there was this there was a gun scare. So like there's a water park in Texas, like near where we were at. And apparently there were like a bunch of cop cars out in front, like a lot, like, they were responding to something. And Gabrielle's part of like this social media group. And they said, it was like, the story was that there was someone had a gun. They're like, someone was they found out someone was carrying a firearm. And so, concerned people went blah, blah, blah. And the responses were like, so what? Like, they're carrying a firearm. And that's exactly what I said. I'm like, carrying a firearm. And like the whole place, like, who gives a shit? Carrying a fucking firearm. It turned out there was more stuff than just the person was carrying a firearm. But the responses were so funny, because I was just thinking about how, like, if this is in California and you're at a water park and you found out that's like, so, he's got a gun, like someone like reaches down and their shirt rides up and you can see the person's holding a gun. It's like, holy shit. They're like, he's got a gun. Cops all show up. That would be normal in California. Fucking Texas is like, yeah, he's got a gun. That's not illegal. And what do you like? Hey, why don't you do a gun check here? Hey, how many of you guys have guns? It's like, I've got a gun. I've got a gun. I have a gun. fucking ridiculous. California sucks, dude. Texas is the best. Anyway, so here's the thing on the Austrian. Do you guys know who the guy who founded Balco Labs is? His name is Victor Conti. Okay. Do you know what Balco is? Balco, if you guys recall, okay, was the scandal where there was a lab that was giving juice, undetectable steroid compounds to like Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Marion Jones, lots of other people. They were running this huge operation and turning elite athletes into the best athletes in the world with the cream and the clear and all that stuff. Okay. So like when it comes to cheating in sports, Balco was the gold standard. Then they got caught. Victor Conti was the guy who was running the whole thing and he got sent to jail. Okay. So guess whose team Victor Conti is on now? You'll never guess. You'll never guess who is closely associated. Devin Haney. Okay, Victor Conti runs his supplement program. Okay, Victor Conti, same guy, Balco. Went to prison for juicing everybody and lying. Now runs Devin Haney's camp. Now, here's the really crazy part. Guess what organization popped Ryan Garcia for the Austrian? VADA. Okay, VADA. And who do you think founded VADA? Who was responsible for the creation of VADA? Victor fucking Conti. Okay. So the organization that popped him for the Austrian, which also originally said that there was also nandrotestosterone in the sample and then rescinded it, right? Then they rescinded it. Oh yeah, he tested positive for 2 compounds, nandrolone and Austrian. And then, oh, never mind. There was no nandrolone in there. There was no nandrolone in there. Oh, there was no nandrolone in there? Really? So how do you explain that test? Oh, but the B sample did have Austrian. Geez, I wonder why they would have retracted the nandrolone. Probably because nandrolone lasts forever in a person's system, and so it would have been very easy for them to go test him, see he's clean now, and know the nandrolone was bullshit, right? So there's that. Austrian, out of your system much faster, much less likelihood of you getting caught. Now, they're saying that they have found, contamination in the supplements or whatever. But I don't know, dude. How do I know that Victor Conti didn't taint his supplements? Like, as soon as you put that guy in the middle of this story, I'm out. I'm out, dude. Okay? If Ryan has 100 clean tests in a row, and then right before the fight, suddenly he pops hot for Austrian. Oh, and nandrolone. But never mind, not really nandrolone. Okay. I never understood why the Austrian was the one that took off, given that the nandrolone would have been insane outright cheating. Like where it's like, dude, if a guy like had a little bit of Austrian in his system and he also had Deca in his system, which one is the more egregious, violation? So again, if you're good at reading people, okay, like let me just pull up Victor Conti really quick for you guys, all right? Victor Conti interview. You tell me how trustworthy this guy is.
Olympic team was doing in Jamaica is when at the trials that Veronica Campbell didn't even make the team in the 100 meters. Third place was 988. I mean, these girls were, and just to put it into perspective.
Does that guy seem like a guy that might bullshit somebody? And like his whole fucking thing is a joke. This guy was the king of cheating. Okay. He was the king of cheating. He gets caught and now his life is about making sure the sport's clean. Yeah, fucking right. You know what I mean? Okay, guy. Oh, that's what you're doing? Now you're dedicated to cleaning up the sport? Fuck. It's a fucking joke, dude. It's a joke. Okay. So again, do I think it is more likely that Victor Conti spiked the fucking samples then Ryan Garcia intentionally took it? 1,000%. And I would encourage everybody to look up this video. Actually, here I'll show you guys exactly which one I'm talking about. Sorry, I can't edit well right now. I'm going to a movie. Here, this right here. Okay, this one right here. Secrets under secrets. Watch that. I watched the entire 41 minutes of it, dude. It's phenomenal. I don't know who did it. Like,
Base jigsaw. Do that in the contract. Like,
all the way up to 165 pounds overnight. This is a 25-pound increase in less than 24 hours. This was unquestionably illegal under the terms of the Regis Prograis contract, but also it was clearly...
Yeah, so they're saying this place is like, Devin Haney's the one who's been cheating consistently. Now, I don't know, the way, like... But bottom line, when you get into the Victor Conti stuff, you will be convinced as well. Anyway, that's what I got. I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ryan Garcia, don't get so drunk. Bye-bye.